Hello everyone on YouTube. Today I'm going to be doing an oil change on a 2012 Honda Civic. It's a 1.8 liter engine and it takes 0W20 oil, and I'm going to be using Mobil 020 oil. And also, before I do that, I'm going to run this Motor Medic motor flush. I have a previous video of when I use the motor flush with my 94 Civic, and I'm going to be using it again for this one. I haven't done it yet before, but I want to see what the results are for that. But I noticed when I used it on my 94 Civic, it did clean out the engine. The oil came out looking dirtier than ever, even dirtier than the dipstick. And I'm also going to be using Fram HM7317 oil filter. And so what you want to do is get a jack and place it at the jack spot right here at the bottom, and we're gonna leave that there for now. I haven't lifted it, I just raised it up to the level of the car. And what we do is, I'm gonna set this to the side. We're going to pour all of the Motor Medic motor flush inside the crankcase. So what we're gonna do is pour it in and then run it for 5 minutes. And what this will do is, it's a petroleum based cleaner, so it'll, as the oil circulates through your engine, it'll clean out your crankcase and any stuck oil, thickened oil residue that might be there. So it should technically flush all the bad things out once you remove the old oil from the car, and it'll pretty much give you a fresh start to whenever you put the new oil in on the oil change. So we're gonna go ahead and pour it in the crankcase. Now I already warmed up the car, so it's all warmed up to operating temperature, but we're gonna go ahead and run it for 5 minutes after I've poured this in there. So just make sure to pour all of it in there, and you don't want to run it more than 5 minutes because it does thin out the oil, and if it thins out the oil, that means there will be more metal contact if you run it for longer than that, and that could cause damage to your engine internal. So make sure to not run it more than 5 minutes. Okay, once that's in there, close this up, and then go ahead and put your cap back on, and we're gonna start up the car and let it run for 5 minutes. Alrighty. As we let the motor flush run through the system, what I'm going to be using are mechanics gloves, the oil pan to catch the oil that comes out of the engine, also a funnel, and for the drain bolt at the bottom of the car, it's a 17 millimeter. And so once you put all this down there, drain the oil, if you want to clean your hands after the job is done, I like to use Fast Orange hand cleaner. It removes any grease or oil that gets stuck on the hands. And what I tend to notice is with mechanics gloves, whenever you're doing an oil change, they sometimes tend to get soaked with oil, so it's good to keep a hand cleaner nearby. And also keep a rag. I'm using an old t-shirt, but it's good to keep a rag. You don't want to spill any oil. And once the old oil is out of the engine, we're going to drain it into this empty gallon of milk or container, empty gallon of milk container. And so we'll go ahead and dispose of that and the old oil filter properly at our local auto parts. Alright, now that the oil has been mixed with the motor flush for 5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and jack up the car on one side, and always make sure to follow proper procedures on how to jack up your car. Make sure to use proper jack stands. Alright, and as you can see, the jack stand is propped right here at the mounting point, and there will be a mounting point at each corner of the vehicle. So there's 4 corners, there's 4 mounting points. Once you're underneath the vehicle, the drain plug for the oil is right here. So right there be a metal label or engraving, or I guess embossed, that says engine oil with the little arrow, and so that's the drain plug. And we're gonna use our 17mm ratchet and socket to loosen it up. There we go. It'll probably be easier to use a smaller socket instead of a long socket, but unfortunately I only have a long socket to work with. And so we're just gonna get the oil pan positioned down here now, and make sure that the oil pan is right underneath it, because it'll usually squirt out. Make sure to catch all the oil. There we go. And so we'll go ahead and let that drain, and usually I'll let it drain until it just drips. A helpful tip when you're draining the oil is also to remove the cap. That way it allows air to flow through inside the crankcase and allow any oil to just drain out smoothly without creating a vacuum effect. To prepare the new oil filter, go ahead and get a little bit of the new oil and rub it on the seal on top, like that, just like so. And this helps lubricate the seal, and so when you go on and put it, and it's there for the lifetime of the new oil, and you go to replace it next time, it won't get stuck. What I like to do with the new oil filter is put some of the new oil inside of it, so when you go to start, there's oil already in the filter for it to cycle through the system without having like a sort of like a dry start. And when you go to pour it, you can just hold a funnel and pour some of the new oil in there. I don't like to fill it completely to the top, but it's good to have some of the oil in there. Once the new oil is dripping, drop by drop, you can go ahead and clean it and then put the plug back on there. And we'll proceed to removing the oil filter. And now we'll be removing the oil filter right here. So we'll let the oil filter drain a little bit, and we'll wipe off the area right there so we can put the new oil filter. After you screw on the new oil filter and it makes contact with the gasket against the wall, just give it one full turn and that'll be tightened enough. You don't want to over tighten it because it will stick, and you'll have to use an oil filter wrench or some pliers to pry it off and twist it off. But that should be good enough. And over here, just make sure that the oil drain plug's not leaking, and yeah, we're looking good. So now what we're going to do is use our funnel, and this car takes 3.9 quarts, and this is a 5 quart jug. And so we're just gonna, as we pour it, we're gonna check the level of it and make sure that we don't go past that. You might want to just add maybe 3.5 quarts, just because not all the oil always comes out when you dump the old oil. And then we'll go ahead and run it for a few minutes, turn off the car, let it sit for 10 minutes, and check the oil. And if it needs some more, we'll accordingly pour some more in there. So go ahead and use a funnel you can pour it in there. Once you're done with your oil change, you'll want to reset your oil change reminder in case it came up for you. So what you're going to do is press menu, and then that screen will come up right there. You're going to scroll up right here to vehicle information, and then click the source button to select that, and it'll show maintenance information. Click the source button again, and it'll say right there how far past you went past your mile change, what to do, engine oil, tire rotation, air filters, transmission oil. So it'll say what's next on your maintenance schedule. And so if you want to go ahead and reset the engine oil reminder, click the source button again. It'll show you right there in the image. Reset. Would you like to reset maintenance information? And you're gonna scroll down right here to yes, and click the source button again to select it. Maintenance information has been reset. And so the rest of the reminders will actually still be there. Transmission oil, air filters, tire rotation, and engine oil. Now it'll show right there that engine oil is at 100%. And so depending on how you drive or how many miles or for how long, the oil life will actually diminish. So you'll kind of have an idea when your next oil change is. What I like to do is go off of my own records. So what I'll do is write down the mileage on a notepad, and that way I'm able to replace the oil when I see that the mileage is reaching a certain. I like to stick around 4,000 miles if possible, 5,000. Some people do 3,000 miles, but this is synthetic oil that we're replacing in the Civic. So synthetic oil is made to last a little longer than your regular conventional oil. So that's how you reset your oil life meter, and you can just press exit and it'll throw you back to the main screen. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Bye bye.